Hi guys, Vino here and welcome to this Vino Plunk production and welcome to this update video of sorts. So what I thought I'd do in this video is give you some context and give you some reasoning for some of the things I mentioned in the video uploaded the early hours of this morning. I recorded that yesterday and then uploaded it in the early hours of the morning. So a couple of things that I wanted to contextualize is, first of all, my main computer is a laptop. It's a PC Specialist Destian 15, I think it was called, or Destian 16, something like that. It's a really good laptop. It's got a 3060 laptop GPU in there. It's got a 12, I think it's a 12th gen or 11th gen Core i5 or Core i7 in there, and it really works. Got 16 gig of RAM. I might be upgrading that to 32 shortly, but it does me for everything. The one big caveat right now is the screen no longer works on it. So the screen has a problem with it. I probably should have gotten it fixed under warranty many years ago, but I decided not to for whatever reason. So I have to use it with an external display, but it also means I can't use it as a laptop. I can't take it places. I can't connect it up and boot it up because obviously it doesn't work. So when I said yesterday that I was looking for a Surface Book 3 or had my eye on a Surface Book 3 in the previous video, I meant that I'm looking for a computer or a laptop that I can use on the go. Not only do I want it to be able to use on the go to be able to edit things, but I also want to be able to use it on the go to do things like record board game videos and do some live streams and stuff like that, which is the main reason why, or a laptop, using a combination of my phone, of the webcam that will be on the actual laptop versus an external webcam that I've got. I want to have a bit of a multicam setup, so when I record board game playthrough videos, they'll be a little bit more dynamic, and that's the reasoning behind that. And if I want to be a bit more portable and maybe shoot that footage up here, then I'm going to need a laptop, obviously, to bring up here, connect everything up, and then have it all set up ready for the board games. That's what I wanted to clarify in terms of that. And I did realize yesterday that I didn't clarify that as one of the main points as to why I wanted to get a laptop. So I have figured out a way of getting some money in order for me to be able to get a laptop. The laptop may now become a MacBook Pro of some description. It may become an M1 MacBook Pro. Ideally, I'd like an M1 MacBook Pro because they are much more future-proofed than the Intel series of MacBook Pros or MacBooks in general, Macs in general. If you don't know, as of, is it Sequoia? I've forgotten the latest version of macOS 26. They're just calling it macOS 26, aren't they? So macOS 26 is the last version of macOS that's going to be on the Intel Macs. From the next iteration of Mac onwards, so Mac 27, it will only be on the M series or the Apple Silicon series of laptops. Now, you do have Open Core Patcher, and there are a lot of people that swear by Apple Core Patcher. One of the main reasons why they swear by Apple Core Patcher, or Open Core, sorry, call it Apple Core, Open Core Patcher, is because they are kind of like fist up at Apple for not just planned obsolescence, but obvious obsolescence. You know, the Intel Macs still will probably run Mac OS 27 really well. It's just that Apple are deciding not to support them. So when Open Core Patcher came out, how many years ago that it came out, and allowed you to install Mac OS onto unsupported Macs, and most of the time they worked really well, a lot of people swear by it because they don't want to upgrade or be felt forced to upgrade hardware because Apple's no longer supporting software-wise their particular laptop. Obviously, they support security updates going forward, but if you want the latest and greatest operating system, you're going to have to go Apple Silicon route. For me personally, I want a laptop that is future-proofed a little bit, because although OpenCore Patcher works, it is glitchy depending on what you use it on. Now, there are some people that would say, you know, if you were to put Linux onto a system, you're going to have to tinker around with it anyway. And ironically, and it's very, very, very deep in its core somewhere, macOS is based upon Unix, which is Linux is also based upon Unix. They forked off many, many, many years ago. I would argue to say that nowadays, I would say macOS isn't as close to Linux as people claim it to be, personally. And I would say that macOS is a far better out-of-the-box experience than Linux will ever be, in my personal opinion. Yes, I have run Arch, I have run Ubuntu, I have run Debian, I have run Mint Linux. There's many distros and spins that I've run of Linux. Still hasn't gelled. Not that it hasn't gelled with me, it's just that it does require some configuration under hood. But when it comes to Mac products, they work out of the box. You know, they're not an Android product, they're not a Linux product. They require some tinkering. They just simply work, and that's kind of what I want. I've done my whole tinkering around with a Linux-based computer and it not working. I've done my installing an unsupported operating system onto an unsupported, you know, piece of hardware. I've done all that. And will I do it again in the future? Probably. But for now, all I want is something that works. With all of the headaches that I've gone through so far with trying to get my footage from my iPhone onto a Windows computer, which still in 2025 isn't the most easiest of processes to go through, I want something that would just work. And if I can future-proof it a little bit by buying Apple Silicon, I will try my best to do that, depending on the price of the item and all that kind of stuff. If not, I will try my best to find as the most up-to-date MacBook Pro that I can get, which would be a 2020 MacBook Pro with the touch bar, because that's the early 2020 models were the last ones that were non-Apple Silicon. It was the mid or late 2020 models that then had the M1 chip inside them, and thus began Apple's own CPU and GPU and all the stuff that they've done over the last 5 or so years. But I am shopping around. I am still considering that Surface Book 3, but the person hasn't responded back to me. So we'll see where we go. There is a couple of other things I have on the mind. I'm basically going to be receiving quite a substantial amount of money, and I want to use it to sort of help out in some areas in terms of board game recording and stuff like that. I buried this 8 minutes deep into this video, but I have a slight announcement to say to you guys. I now have 3 channels. I have this channel, I have another channel called Gareth the Geek, and a third channel called Board Game 1. Board Game 1 will be for board games, as the name suggests. Gareth the Geek will be anything that's not vlog related, or not just me talking head to you kind of thing. So DVD and Blu-ray updates, reviews on movies and TV shows and all that kind of stuff, and just general media. Trying to think what else. And this channel is going to stay as the vlog channel. So your OTGVs, your TFACs will all be on this channel. And I'm going to separate my content over the 3 channels. And hopefully not only will you guys appreciate that, but I will. It's going to allow me to mentally sort of compartmentalize each of my channels, where the content goes and all that kind of stuff. And I do have a logo that I've used, an AI generator, I would admit, in order to make for both of those channels. And I think that's what I'm going to do going forward. And that's kind of why I want to do this, you know, buy this laptop, get everything set up, and have a really nice setup as far as that's concerned. I just wanted to do this little update to announce I now have those further 2 channels and what they're going to be about, to give some context as to why I can't use my laptop as a laptop, and that's kind of why I connected it to my TV in the back room, because I now view that as almost like a media computer now. Yes, I play games on it, any games that I have on the PC or on Steam and stuff like that I don't have on the PlayStation 5 or the Switch. But primarily it's now a media center for me to play my Region A discs, or if I want to download some 4K stuff and view it through the TV, some 4K PC gaming, if the laptop's up to it, those little bits and bobs. So I just wanted to give a bit of further context, announce those 2 channels, and then go from there. Thank you very much for bearing with me, guys. There will be a return to content very soon, if you couldn't tell from my uptick in uploading content over the last couple of days. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.